Good evening. Welcome to Decision 2025. We have the races of New York, New Jersey, and to watch tonight. Starting off with Spanberger favorability rating. She is favorable by 10 points at 43 to her unfavorability rating at 33%. Let's take a look at other candidates as well. Winsome Sears favorability rating in Virginia against her opponent is -4 at 38% unfavorable and just 34% favorable for the Republican Winsome Sears. And as for Mikey Sherrill's favorability rating, she is up by 10 points in the positives. And as for Jack Ciattarelli's favorability rating, he's down by 4 points underwater, a unfavorability rating of 39% to his favorability rating of 35%. And now as for New York City, Zohran Mamdani's favorability rating is at a positive 11 percentage points. And as for Andrew Cuomo, his independent challenger, former Democrat, his favorability rating is underwater by farther than anybody else at -16 points underwater. Cuomo is unfavorable by a staggering 52% to his favorability rating of just only 36 percentage points. And as for Curtis Sliwa, the only Republican candidate in New York City's mayoral election race, his favorability rating is underwater by -13 points, similar to Andrew Cuomo, but not as bad. His unfavorability rating, although, is at 40%, and he's only favorable by just 27%. And as for Virginia, we have 19% of the estimated vote is in. Abigail Spanberger is trailing with the early vote. It is still early, keep in mind, in the night. Winsome Sears is up at 63%. And as for some polling out of the state of Virginia, Abigail Spanberger, as you can see on the screen, is favored to win this race. She is favored as the Democrat against the incumbent Lieutenant Governor Winsome Sears by 10%, 52 to Sears 42%. Spanberger is favored according to majority of polling averages. And as for another Virginia race, this time for the Attorney General polls, the favorite to win is Jason Miyares. He is favored over the Democrat Jay Jones by staggering 7% according to majority of polling averages. Miyares is at 45, and Jay Jones is only polling at 38%. Can't crack 40% quite yet. And as for the Virginia polling for the Lieutenant Governor race, Hashmi is up by just 2 points on the polling average at 44% to her Republican opponent, John Reed's 42%. This Lieutenant Governor race in Virginia is expected to be very close. We should watch this closely tonight. And as for Virginia's Lieutenant Governor's race, we have 27% in. The actual results is 27% of the estimated vote is in. John Reed, the Republican candidate, is up with the early vote as expected with 63% of the vote to Hashmi's 33%. No surprise, it is still early tonight. And as for these race ratings, according to the data polls, Virginia likely D, New York City mayoral safe Democrat, in New Jersey is a straight toss-up at the current moment. And as for New Jersey, Mike Sherrill, the Democratic candidate, with just 15% of the vote, is trailing Jack Ciattarelli, but he's at 65. It is still too early tonight. No surprise here for this governor race. As for New Jersey's polling data, according to the polling averages, it is practically a toss-up race with Sherrill at a slight advantage. And then New York City, these are the real results. 24% of the estimated vote is in. This is not a poll. And as for this mayoral election race, as of right now, Curtis Sliwa, the Republican candidate, is on top of his two opponents, Andrew Cuomo and Zohran Mamdani, but it's still too early tonight, as you can see with the numbers coming in. And then as for New York City's mayoral polling data, the favorite to win, according to the majority of polling averages, is Mamdani by an average of 10 percentage points. And then the approval rating of President Donald Trump, according to some exit polls, let's take a look at exit polls now, is Donald Trump, the incumbent Republican, is underwater by a net -10 points, disapproved of by a staggering 53%, and is only approved of by 43%. Let's see if Donald Trump hurts some of these Republicans candidates like Jack Ciattarelli, Curtis Sliwa, and some others like Winsome Sears, because he's the incumbent president and he's taken a huge hit. So we have a key race alert, the first key race alert tonight. I repeat, a key race alert. We now can project that the Virginia Attorney General race will go to the Republican Jason Miyares. He won last time, meaning it will be a hold for him. This time around, Jason Miyares will win by a projected margin of 6 percentage points, so he's actually won by more than he did last time in 2022. He's improved on his margin of victory. With 74% of the estimated votes in, we can now project that Jason Miyares will win as the incumbent again for a second time as the Virginia Attorney General against Jay Jones, his Democratic challenger. 53% to Jones's 47%. And then as for the direction of the country, another exit polls. Let's go back to some exit polls. The right direction, just at 27%, and majority of Americans believe the country is headed in the wrong direction at 73%. That is not good for the incumbent party, the Republicans, aka Donald Trump. And the difference is 50%. That's not good news if you're any Republican candidate in any of these three major races like New York, New Jersey, and Virginia tonight. And as for Virginia's lieutenant governor's race, we have an update. Now 38% is in of the estimated vote. John Reed is still up, but it is getting very close. The race is narrowing. He's only up by about 8 points as of right now. 52% to Hashmi's 44%. The race is tightening up. And then as for New Jersey, just 50%, half the vote is in. Mikey Sherrill is barely up against Jack Ciattarelli by 0.3% at the current moment. 49.4, 49.1 is the difference in this race. Now another exit poll opinion of the President Donald Trump. He's unfavorable by a net negative 11 points underwater, 53% unfavorability rating, and he's only favorable by 42%. And as for New York City, another update. Now this time 56% of the estimated vote share is in for this mayoral election race. Zohran Mamdani has officially taken the lead for the first time tonight over his two opponents, Curtis Lewa at 29.5%, Andrew Cuomo at 29.4%, and Zohran Mamdani in the lead at 30.1%. And as for Virginia, Abigail Spansberger, an update here with 63% in, is leading against Winsome Sears tonight for the first time. She has now taken the lead by a margin as of right now of about 5 percentage points. Sears is at 46.9 and Spanberger at 52.1%. And as for Virginia's lieutenant governor's race, Hashmi is now tied with John Reed. Earlier, the lead was narrowing down, and now it is a dead tie, evenly split at 48 to 48% with 62% in. And as for New Jersey, Mikey Sherrill and Jack Ciattarelli, it is a dead tie as well, 49.5 for both of these candidates with 66% of the vote in. These races are getting extremely heated at the current moment. And as for New York City, another update here, 60%, nearly 2/3 of the vote almost in. Estimated, Zohran Mamdani has expanded his lead. He is extending his lead at 33.6%. Curtis Lewa and Andrew Cuomo both dropping their numbers at 20.7 and 26.2%. We have a key race alert, the second key race alert tonight. A major projection out of Virginia's governor race. This is a flip from red to blue. Abigail Spansberger will defeat Winsome Sears officially. We can project right now at the moment by projected margin of 9.2% with 77% of the overall vote share is in. We can now project Abigail Spansberger, the Democrat, will defeat the Republican Winsome Sears. This will be a flip at 54.6% to Sears' 45.4%. That's the difference. And another key race alert tonight. We can now project Virginia's lieutenant governor will go also from red to blue. Another blow to Donald Trump's presidency and incumbency, and a major blow to the Republican Party or GOP. Another flip for the Democrats tonight. Hashmi, the Democratic candidate nominee, will win, be Virginia's next lieutenant governor by a projected margin of just under percentage point, 0.6%. Extremely tight, narrow, close victory with 85% of the vote in. John Reed is at 49.7 to Hashmi's 50.3. She will be Virginia's next lieutenant governor. We have yet again another key race alert, this time being from the state of New Jersey. We can now project that this is going to be a hold for the Democratic Party. Mikey Sherrill, the Democrat, will defeat her Republican opponent, Jack Ciattarelli, by projected margin of just 0.4%, under percentage point. Yet again, a lot of these races are ending up to be very close. 87% of the estimated vote is in. We can now call Mikey Sherrill the next governor of Virginia by a very narrow margin. She gets 50.2 of the vote to Jack Ciattarelli's 49.8%. We have another key race alert, major projection out of the state of New York City's mayoral race. Zohran Mamdani will be the next mayor of New York City, replacing Eric Adams. This is going to be hold for the Democratic Party. Zohran Mamdani will win by a margin of 13 percentage points, a huge victory to the Democratic Socialist at 48.3%. Curtis Lewa at the least of these three candidates at 17.3%, and Andrew Cuomo at just 34.4%. With 79% of the estimated votes in, we can now project Zohran Mamdani will be the next mayor of New York City.